Welcome back to the Morning Juice. I'm your host, Juice. Today we have Amy on the show to tell us her story. How are you doing, Amy?
I'm good. I'm excited.
Are you nervous?
Very.
Don't be nervous. It's okay. We're going to get through this. Tell me a little. Did you have to work today?
Yeah. I worked at Cava.
Nice. So you want to start your story?
Yeah. I was born in Branson. I'm the youngest of 7. I'm a twin.
Hold on. 7?
Yeah.
I mean, I've known you for a while, but I didn't know it was 7.
6 girls.
I knew you was a twin, but I didn't know it was 7 of y'all.
Yeah. 7 of us total. 6 girls. Yeah.
Poor dad.
Yeah, I think he got used to it, but a little on dad. He's like, yeah, at this point,
No boys.
But he's a champ. He's a champ, honestly. Took all the girls, But yeah, the last ones were Emily and I, and we were twins. My parents did really good about, separating us when we were younger. Like, when we go to school, we had different teachers, different recess. That way we had different friends. And although we were fraternal, she wanted us to be individual and, figure out who we are as a person and not as a twin. Even though she did her best to keep us from comparison and stuff like that, I heavily compared myself to her. She made friends super easily. She had all the friends. She was able to make them and keep them, versus I could make them last a week. And then I just wouldn't be friends anymore. I don't know why. I was awful about keeping friends. She was 4.0. I mean, National Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society. She super smart, and I envied her a lot growing up. I wanted to be her so bad, and a lot of it, I mean, my childhood just filled with comparison and stuff like that.
Was you hey, quit setting the bar so high, I want to chill?
I was so mad that she could, it just came to her so easy. It was something I had to try so hard for.
Yeah.
When we had birthday parties, all of our friends would show up and everyone would be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to come. And then I'd be sitting there just waiting for someone to show up.
Oh.
Yeah. Most of my birthday parties, I had no one show up. Emily was great though. She ended up telling her friends
go hang
out. Could you bring a present for Amy so she doesn't feel left out and stuff.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. And I hated and envied Emily so much growing up, but I mean, she's my best friend now.
Yeah.
I love her to death.
Well, I mean, she took care of you.
She did. She really did. She did a lot of behind-the-scenes taking care of me that, growing up, and, currently I'm still learning of things she did. But, yeah, she was always right there with me.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm queen of awkward silences, if you can't tell.
No, it's good. So, what age was you when stuff started getting rough?
7. I was being sexually assaulted by a neighbor that lived across the street from me. In the long run, I had tried to tell someone about it, but it was child on child, so it's really hard. And I was diagnosed with oppositional defiance disorder.
What, you was diagnosed with what again?
ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, the one that they just kind of slapped onto a bunch of kids for,
Yeah.
easy random things.
Yeah, they're here. This is your.
Oh, you're arguing with the parents. Boom. Stuff like that. So everyone was kind of assuming I was lying.
Right.
So I was being sexually assaulted, and there was just one time I had gotten back home from the neighbor's house. I was exhausted. I was tired of, that. So I decided I was going to go to my room and try to kill myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was you still 7?
Oh, 7, yes. This is when I was 7.
So your first attempt was at 7?
Yeah. I don't know how much of an attempt I can say it was.
But it was still for you it was an attempt.
It was. Yeah, I had went into my room. And I had shared at the time with Emily, but it was just me in there. And those blind strings?
Yeah.
I had took that and tied it around my throat, and then panicked because I couldn't breathe. So I, cut it off and stuff.
Yeah.
But my first suicide attempt was when I was 7, being sexually assaulted. The sexual abuse didn't end for about 2 or 3 years.
Because it was your neighbor, right?
Yeah, and we were friends. I had considered her my best friend during it. So it didn't end for 2 or 3 more years until she moved. I think that's what it was. But
so did you realize at 7 that's what was going on, or is it
I think it's
going through your
7,
therapies and stuff? You.
I don't think at 7 I had an idea it was wrong.
Right.
I knew it wasn't normal, per se.
Right. You're like, my other friends hasn't never played with me like this. Like,
See, that was the thing, but like it was my neighbor, and like sometimes it'd be another one of my neighbors, so it'd be like two of my friends I considered best friends at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh well, she does it too, so like this must be.
this must be okay.
Yeah, this must be normal. This
They're
must
doing
be
it first.
okay.
Like, okay, this is
I
some
don't-
new game that
Like I thought it was a game the
Yeah,
entire
like-
time. Like there were instances where we'd play games and it'd be like copycat and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I thought it was normal for a while. I remember just like not really like enjoying it.
Yeah.
But again, like I didn't know what it was.
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Like, because no 7-year-old should know what it was.
Right. Yeah. I was introduced to sex at a early age and
Yeah.
still very confused
Right.
about it. So yeah, I got put into therapy though when I started talking about it. No one really believed me, but at least I.
So how old was you when you first went to therapy?
I've been seeing therapists. I would have to say it was probably 7-ish,
Okay.
maybe 7 or 8. I want to say.
And you've done therapy this whole time?
Off and on. When I was growing up and lived like in my mom and dad's care, I saw therapists regularly, different ones. Couldn't really relate to any of them. They were all like older,
Right.
and
right.
I was like, I'd say something, and they'd look at me and be like, "Huh?" And I'd be like,
Never mind.
"Don't worry about it."
Don't worry. Don't worry. I really
My
just told
bad.
you some important stuff, but you
It was
don't
like my
understand.
bad. I don't feel like rewording that.
Yeah.
But I saw them pretty regularly, and then when I moved out, I kind of stopped. I had found one therapist that I really, really, really liked. I felt like her and I really vibed, and I was a threat to myself, and she ended up hospitalizing me, and so went there, got out, she ghosted me. She doesn't see people after they get discharged.
Really?
Yeah, so I've been in and out of therapy my adult life, but I am in it currently, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So like that is wild that once you have to go to the hospital, she's like,
Yeah, apparently she had a rule or a policy where she doesn't see patients after she sends them to psych hospitals.
when
But
it's the
she
most
had
important time.
She had full contact with me while I was in the hospital, though. Like,
So
I
she-
talked to her on the phone while I was in the hospital, and none of the time did she mention that she wasn't going to see me afterwards. I was like, I feel like that's, like, the ideal time.
That was probably the most important time.
I could have found a therapist there.
Right.
You know?
Tell me why I'm in the hospital. Like, I'm already low. Like, just go
I
ahead.
was like, listen, I have BPD. This abandonment?
Yeah. Like, you really
Ooh.
striking another nerve.
I know. I was like, you're really...
You know, you want me to go back
Is
to the
this, like-
hospital?
Well, I was like, is this like throwing me out to the wolves and being like, here,
Here,
like
I
whatever
can't
that
fix you.
therapy's called,
Yeah.
Exposure therapy? Is this
Yeah.
exposure therapy for my abandonment problems?
Right. Like, here you go. I think what you need is some, you got abandonment issues, so we're just going to throw you to the wolves because I think that'll help you with your,
I was like, I would have liked a little bit of a notice, but I guess that really wouldn't have been abandonment though.
they're like, at least
big
tell me
or go
why I'm in the
home.
hospital because that way you could, one, get a therapist and two, kind of deal with that.
I don't know. I guess she's like, go big or go home.
Yeah. She's like, well, I drove you to the hospital.
Quite literally, go big or go home.
And now I'm going home.
Oh, it's crazy. My mind
So
just
so
went blank.
so like when you went to the hospital, right? For this from where the therapist ghosted you. How old was you
that
there?
was like a couple years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
I
is
just been seeing therapists.
this
for my
ain't even
entire
a long
life.
time ago. This is
No, like I saw therapists, but again, they were all chosen by my mom. So I also feel like having a parent there kind of helped like therapists not be therapists nowadays.
yeah.
But to get a little bit back more on track now.
Yeah.
Because I was 11 or 12 when I first picked up a razor blade with bad intentions to it.
Yeah.
I had planned it out. I knew I was going to do it. I knew what day I was going to do it. My mom had went to work, and so was Dad watching Emily and I. I don't remember where my two other sisters were. But it was Dad, Emily, and I. We just finished dinner. Mom went to work, and I had grabbed, like, one of those, like, little screwdrivers, that comes
Yeah.
like, things to put together. Grabbed one of those and a pencil sharpener. Went out to my trampoline, the trampoline we had in the backyard. My back was facing, the window that faced my parents' room, and unscrewed it, did all that stuff. And I remember just like sitting there for a minute, and it was probably around like 6 or 7. Like it was not quite like sundown, but like it was pretty. I was nice, blue, calm, not really that sunny. I just remember holding the razor blade, and it was the weirdest feeling because it's like I knew I had like bad intentions per se with it, but I was excited.
Yeah.
I remember feeling so excited and calm. For the first time, I felt so calm. And I just held it, realized, oh, my dad can probably, if he looked out the window, he could probably get an idea. So I decided to walk around to the garage at the front of the house and kind of sit behind one of the cars. And I self-harmed for the first time on my leg. And I remember sitting there, I was like, it's just going to be like, one-time thing. See how it feels. I'm not going to like gravitate towards it.
I know the
So
feeling.
I was wrong.
Yeah. So
massively wrong. I did it. And I remember just sitting there. I was like, you prepare yourself the first time you self-harm. You kind of prepare yourself for the pain of it. Because, like, when you accidentally cut your finger while you're chopping up.
That hurts.
It hurts so bad.
I agree.
But when you self-harm, it's like.
You're controlling it.
Interesting. That, didn't really feel like anything.
See, for me, it was like dopamine. Like, if I was like, I don't
hurt
hear those
if I was
voices.
doing it.
Like, I don't hear the kill yourself voices. I hear,
Yeah.
it's clear.
Yeah.
For a second.
Well, when I would do it, I would get this, like, euphoric high.
Yes.
From it that, like, one, I never knew you could experience, I was young, especially from something like that.
Yeah. You're like, why is hurting myself feel good?
In the back of your head it's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be doing this.
You're like, I got to be fucked up. Like, there's something wrong with me. I'm fucked up.
Yeah, you do. And you're like, oh, maybe a little more fucked than I thought.
Yeah. Like, you're like, I don't know if I need therapy, but I'm pretty sure I do now because, like, that felt good and it should have hurt.
Yeah, I was, like, preparing myself both mentally and physically for the physical pain of it. And I just remember getting done with, like, the first one. I was like, okay. And I was like, maybe that was, like...
Maybe my adrenaline was up.
Yeah, that was, like, maybe I just, like...
Maybe I didn't.
Maybe I didn't focus enough.
Right. I
like,
get it.
Doing more. And I was like, okay. So if I do this, one, it does not hurt. Two, this calm high. And, like, I felt happy. I remember it being the biggest difference, like, the biggest feeling difference between, like, daily life, where I was struggling to, like, keep myself alive. I was struggling to just survive every single day, to when I would self-harm, and it was like, yeah, I can tackle this. Shit, I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, y'all want me to go out tonight? Let me go to the bathroom and do a couple cuts. And then...
Yeah, that's how I was. I'd be invited somewhere. I was like, just give me 1 second. And then absolutely, I'd be more than happy to go. And, like, it would genuinely be something I would have to do before I went out. And... 6th grade, I think, is when my parents found out about it. End of 6th grade, I think.
So was you like, because as a guy,
yeah,
I didn't want my kids to find, as a dad, I didn't want my kids to find out that I was self-harming. So, like, I was doing it on my thighs to where, like, you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Either I had on boxers or I had on shorts all the time. So, like, nobody could ever see my scars.
Yeah.
So did you do the same thing?
At first, yeah, like, depending on, like, the season and the weather and stuff. When it was, like, winter, that was, like, free.
Yeah,
you're like, free game.
You're like, woo!
I know, there's, like, free game. Anywhere, wherever, showable, because I'm enclosed, just, like, covered it, And then, like, summertime, I never really wore shorts. I wasn't the biggest shorts person, so I guess that did kind of help me in that aspect. But I was really good about hiding it. I was good. I was good about keeping them clean, not infected, like, everything. Nobody knew.
Like, and that's what people don't understand. Like, it's not like we cut it and just let it just.
That's the thing. Like, in 6th grade, I kept 6th and 7th, I would say. I had a Ziploc baggie in my locker that would be, like, hidden really well.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell what it was, and it was gauze pads, Band-Aids, a little smaller container inside the bag with my blades, and a spray bottle of hydrogen peroxide. I kept that shit clean no matter where I went.
So you cut at school and everywhere?
Oh, I cut everywhere. My second suicide attempt was at school.
Really?
Yeah. I had gotten to, like, the thing was, like, that day was not my original date. I didn't plan on killing myself that day. I was a couple weeks down the line, I think, was the original one. But I had gotten into, like, this argument with my family and my parents that morning. I can't remember exactly who we were fighting or what it was about. But it was just, I was exhausted. I was like, you know what? I have everything I need. I had been stockpiling meds, like pocket my meds at night, over-the-counter medications. When my sister would be out of her room, I'd steal her, like, Tramadol and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd just steal what I could. I got whatever I could get my hands on. So I grabbed my stash, went to school. And
what grade was you in?
7th.
Oh, wow. So you was 11, 12, 13?
13, 14?
Yeah.
13. I was 13.
Yeah.
So that's when I was 13. and went to school, had, my headphones in, the typical her last words, baby don't cut, shit like that.
I remember that song. I know that song.
I hate that song now.
I'm sure.
I can't do it anymore. But I had that kind of music, Bullet by Holly One and Dead. The encouragement songs.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had that going in my ears, blaring, and I made it through first period because I knew it was gonna be easier at second period because I was right across from the restrooms then. So second period rolls around, we get comfy. I find a really good hey, can I use the restroom? I'm so sorry I didn't go during passing time, but
Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, of course. And this teacher loved me. I loved her. She's so sweet. And I went into the bathroom, and there was a girl at the sinks and a girl in the stalls, and I was like, well,
I need y'all to get out of here.
I know, right? I was like, I can't just
yeah,
I can't just
I ain't trying to
guzzle a bunch
traumatize
of this
nobody
water
else.
from the sink right in front of you and swallow a shit ton of pills.
And
it
it's
just
not.
won't work
I mean,
that
it's
way.
not funny, but I
yeah.
understand the thinking behind it.
I was so
like,
mad.
You was
I
like,
was so certain no one was gonna be in there, and I was like,
you're like,
are you serious?
are you fucking
It's
serious?
Another reason, 13th reason right there.
There's my 13th.
I know. So I was like, okay, I guess we'll just sit in the stall until they're done. So I was 5 minutes of me just sitting in there, and I'm also panicking because I'm my teacher's gonna realize
My
I'm
teacher's
gone.
gonna walk in here
I'm gonna
any
have
second.
not enough time to swallow these pills. It was crazy. And so they ended up leaving. I was like, now or never. I don't have people. She's gonna send someone to check on me. 'Cause,
Yeah.
that's the type of teacher she was. Loved her to death, super caring. I was like, but she's gonna send someone to check on me, and I can't be in the middle of swallowing pills.
Right.
If I want to succeed, I can't be in the middle. So, drank, put my head down to the faucet, grabbed as much water as I could in my mouth, grabbed my pills, and swallowed them. Immediately walked back to class. Right after that, walked right back, finished out second period. I walked to third period band class, and, I was already, kind of out of it, It's, this is about 30-ish minutes. And so I was, pretty out of it when I was walking. I don't, it was very splotchy. I remember, being very in and out when I was walking. Made it to band class, sat down, we're tuning our instruments, and I go to blow into mine, and I had the strongest and worst stabbing pain in my chest when I was, blowing in my flute. And I, winced at it, but I was like, I know what I just did, I gotta fake it till I make it,
Yeah, you're
again,
I know why that's
complain.
hurting.
Yeah.
I know why it's hurting, but
And so,
damn.
my flute was out of tune, so, we kept going, and I kept having to blow into it. And I guess, the wincing became, a little bit more noticeable. So she's like, I'm going to send you to the nurse. You're just wincing a lot. I'm concerned about you. And I was like, fuck. Okay, so I go to the nurse. I am in pain.
Yeah, you're hurting at this point.
I'm hurting. There's a bunch of different pills in my
you've taken
stomach.
a mixture.
Yeah. Go to the nurse. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I guess, when I just take deep, inhales, my chest kind of hurts a little bit, but it's, not severe. My stomach kind of hurts, too, so I think it just might be, acid reflux or something like that. So she gives me a mint. And I
You're
go back to
good.
class, and I was like, yes.
I got
Yes!
another man.
Got a mint!
Here,
Nobody's
eat this
figured it out
mint.
yet. And so I go back. I was in and out of it so bad. My head was, resting on my, music stand, because I was like, I can't keep my head up, can't play my instrument. I am literally going in and out of just, consciousness at this point. Again, band teacher notices. She has my best friend walk me to the nurse, and I'm stumbling. I seem drunk at this point, right?
And the nurse is like, wow, there's a lot of change here.
Yeah, and so she's like, why don't you just, lay down? We'll call your, mom or dad to come pick you up. And I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds great. It's I wanted to lay down at this point, You're like, I'm
trying to pass out anyway.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I was like, I'm tired enough and weak enough where I could just close my eyes and not wake up. So I'm laying down, and then I'm out pretty quick. Close my eyes, out. And I remember her, shaking me to wake me up. She was like, haha, you're such a deep sleeper, I couldn't even wake you. And I was so pissed. I was like, what the fuck? Waking up, you're it's only 15 minutes though, so. My dad picks me up, and we drive to my sister's apartment, and I just crash there. And again, wake up pissed because it didn't work. I was certain it was going to work. Went to school the next day after trying to kill myself. My friend asked if I was okay, the one that walked me to the nurse's office. And I wrote in band class, because it's the first time we see each other the day. And I wrote to her, I don't know why. I said I tried to kill myself. Blunt.
Just bluntly,
Yeah.
because I mean,
I was so pissed that day, though. I was so mad. I was so mad it didn't work. I was disappointed in myself. I thought I had failed so bad, like failed myself.
I mean, I understand that.
Yeah.
Like with mine, because most of mine was with pills, and it was always sleeping pills with me because I was too scared to mix them because I didn't, because you've seen movies where like they mix them and then like it's a lot of convulsions,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't want to feel none of that.
Yeah.
I just want to go to sleep. Let me just go to sleep. So I would just take like all my sleeping pills, for example. Like I remember I took all my hydroxyzine.
Yeah.
And I woke up the next morning and I was like, are you fucking serious? Like now I got to deal with a 4-day headache because
being out of your meds.
and being out of my meds and just being just pissed off at the world.
I did that with my trazodone.
I did trazodone also.
I did mine with trazodone. I eventually did not like mixing.
Yeah.
Even I was in 7th grade, I wasn't, we weren't watching that many movies about it.
Yeah, but then by then you started watching like.
When I was growing up, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
So like sleeping meds definitely became like my choice. But my friend ended up telling the guidance counselor, and the guidance counselor called my parents. Parents found out that I tried to kill myself. Shockingly enough, I had an appointment with my psychiatrist that day.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, perfect timing.
So now
Beautiful.
Mama's going to tell psychiatrists.
Because, I had gotten picked up early from school, and I didn't know that they knew. Because, again, psychiatry appointment, I had to get picked up
so
early.
So you wasn't even thinking they knew?
No. I got in the car. I was, chirpy, trying to act chirpy at least.
Trying to act all happy, like you know.
Yeah, and she was like, so the guidance counselor called me, and I was like, okay. Because, I didn't know that my friend had a guidance counselor. I was like, okay, what's up? She's like, you had told your friend something. And I was like,
bitch.
Fuck.
that was your first thought?
I was so mad at my friend.
I'm sure.
I love her to death. We ended up splitting, but, I'm so grateful she did that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm so grateful she did that. But, I was so mad at her. And I was like, you ratted me out. You
ratted me out. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, dude, we're friends.
Hey, we got bro code.
The best friends.
Yeah, we don't tell secrets.
What happened here? You just tattled on me?
You just was like, you went back to school and snitches get stitches.
I did not. I stopped talking to her for a while, and then we moved away. She moved to a different state. I moved to a different state, kind of thing. But I was put in my first ever psych hospital at 13 because of that. Lakeland Behavioral Hospital in Springfield, Missouri.
Let me ask you a question about that, because I've only went to adult facilities, right?
Most of mine were kids.
But I've heard, and plus during research and watching videos and stuff, that a lot of the kids facilities are below average. So did you have good experiences there, or were they terrible experiences?
I mean, I wouldn't say mine were terrible.
Okay, that's good.
I have heard horror stories of children's psych hospitals, and I don't want to say mine was horrible. I don't want to say mine was good either, though.
Right.
I would have definitely said, Lakeland. I've been in 2 when I was a kid, Lakeland Behavioral Hospital and Cox North. There was a lot more negative things that happened to me and to other people that I witnessed in Cox North than I ever did in Lakeland. But I'd definitely say adults, facilities were way better.
Yeah, because, my first time going to a psych hospital was in Nashville. I'll even just say it because I was at Vandy Psych.
Oh, that's my preferred one
and
if I get bad.
And, they got the different floors. Because I remember when I went into, the triage room.
Yeah.
And they came in and they were like, why are you here? And I was like, I went to my first ever psychiatrist appointment. And she asked me how I felt. And I told her if I could kill myself right now, I would. Because, if you've never been to a psych before, you don't know what you can and can't say. Because they don't tell you everything because they want you to be honest. They were like, okay. So they brought the person in. They did all their stuff. And then they were like, you're going to go to the good floor. And I was like, what do you mean the good floor? They was like, you're going to go to the top floor where there's suicidal ideation and depression. They're like, you're not going to they call it the rehab floor, the detox floor. I wasn't going there. They was like, you don't have to be in a gown. You get to wear your regular clothes. And I was like, oh, okay.
Cool.
So then, of course, they had took my shoes, and I had wore my Jordans that day, and they started ripping the shoestrings out. I was like, what are you doing?
You can't have any
You're
strings.
you're suicidal. I was like, just keep my shoes.
Any strings,
I don't take my shoestrings out. And I remember when I went in, my brother brought me some clothes up there. And all my shorts were basketball shorts, so they had drawstrings in them. And they sit there and they'd cut every one of them out. And I was like, but like the experience there was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, I probably should have stayed longer, but like I would never have nothing bad to say about my visit there.
For sure is my, like, if I'm getting really bad again, that's where I go.
Yeah.
Definitely the kids.
So you was there at 13. How long did you stay?
Yeah, I was there for 5 or 6 days. I can't remember exactly. It was like between the 5 and 7 typical day mark for that one. I mean, it was just like, it wasn't a bad stay. It was unique because it was my first one as a kid, but I really don't have anything negative to say about it.
Yeah.
I will say though, the difference between child and adult psych, from my perspective, there were a lot less fights in the adult.
Yes.
For sure.
That's what I've heard a lot about.
Yeah,
that there's a lot of fighting.
A lot less in adults. Like, one of the adult ones, we were trying to figure out who got the last cup of coffee at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
We had 1 cup left. Instead of, like, you know, in a children's psych hospital, we probably would have fought over it. Whether that was physical or verbal, you know, whatever it was. Like, we haven't had broken up. We just turned on the TV, turned our back to the TV. One of the techs played a video on, like, TikTok dances. And so, like, 3 or 4 of us got in a line, and, like, whoever could do the most correct dances won the cup of coffee. That's how we handled that.
Yeah.
And I won, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you was the best dancer?
No, I just knew the most.
Oh.
But yeah, I was there for, like, 5 to 7 days. Wasn't in another one for 2 years.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The self-harm returned only, like, 7-ish months later. So
you hid it from them for another couple of years?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was still really good at covering stuff. I became known as, like, the person that would always wear long sleeves, you know, long pants, stuff like that. So becoming known as someone that would wear that in all weather became really easy to conceal.
Like, oh, it's summertime. It's 110 outside, and she's got on a cardigan right now.
Yeah, exactly. 2 years after that, I was put into Cox North, which is by far the worst psych hospital I've ever been to in my entire life. We had a guy there named Dr. Lord.
Dr. Lord?
Dr. Lord.
Nice. What a name for a doctor.
I hated him. Hated him so much. This man, okay, so, like, my parents' insurance at the time did not cover any other psych facilities. It was only in Springfield, and it was Cox North. So, like, I didn't really have a whole lot of options.
Right.
You know? So I frequently went to Cox North. I mean, I was a frequent flyer. I did go in and out of the psych hospital, but I will always go in and out of the psych hospital if it means keeping myself alive and keeping myself safe.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't care, you know, frequent flyer, whatever. Nice to meet you. I know you now, you know, like.
You just walk in, they just got your reserved
how's
bed.
the kids going?
Yeah.
How's the husband? Married still? You know?
They're like, you're in your same room, same bed.
Yeah. You know, down the hall.
Down the hall,
you know the gist. You know the deal. Groups are still at the same time.
Hey, your name is over the bed. You're frequent flyer, so you get to have the best bed in the floor.
Yeah, we permanently just put your name there. We'll know you'll be back.
We got your seat saved.
But Dr. Lord, I guess, didn't like me after my first couple visits. I guess when he realized I was going to be, like, frequent flying. But there was one day, we were in line. It was the first time he saw me. And he was, like, looking at his list and he goes, Amy. I was like, I missed you too. I love doing I made him so mad so easily over the stupidest things. I remember that there was one time he looked me in my eyes and he says, you're going to be nothing but a patient who consistently returns to the psych hospital.
You're like, wow.
You'll forever need, you know, you'll always be living with your parents. Like, you'll never be dependent. I'll never hold a career. I'll never live on my... Like, he was going.
We need to make him
a
video of everything you've accomplished since then and send it to him.
My dream is to be super, super petty, okay? And, like, get, like, an Airbnb or a hotel in Springfield for a little bit.
And go?
And get a job at the psych hospital. Because I know he still works there, and I know he's teaching. I know he teaches psychology at the nearby campus.
Right.
Which kills me, that man.
Is teaching.
This girl had, like, overdosed on so many different meds, like, in the hundreds. She had to, like, we had assignments from him. And one of her assignments was to write out the amount of, like, pills she took. Reasons why she liked herself. On a good day.
That's staying in the video. That's staying in the video.
I love that. I love that.
I don't know if I made it on camera.
You probably did.
I was going to do some crazy shit, pour water on my head, but I didn't want to freak you out, so I'm so sorry.
You're good.
I'm Tyler, by the way.
And Amy.
At Morning Juice Pod.
This
Shout out.
is staying on the camera.
Okay, Sorry, I hope I didn't throw you off.
No, you didn't. This is staying on, though.
Like, subscribe, comment, share.
I love him. I love that guy. So we're talking about Dr. Lord.
Yeah, so, you know, the amount of pills that she took, she had to write, you know, the amount of reasons why she liked herself. I can't name, like, 20 on a good day.
So, like, if she took 30 pills, she had
taken over, like, in the hundreds.
So she had to write hundreds of things of why she liked herself.
Yes.
To somebody that, like,
It's
obviously don't like herself. And so
Yeah.
you want to punish her.
I was like, what do you want me to count? Each strand of my hair? Like,
Yeah.
I like this singular piece of hair on my leg. This one over here is pretty
Right.
right. Like, what do you...
I like this wrinkle in my finger.
Yeah, exactly. He gave another, like, really stupid assignment to a girl who was, like, self-harming like I was. I don't remember what it was, but I even called. I was like, dude, that's ridiculous. He's like, are you saying what I'm doing is wrong? And I was like, no, just what you're doing is stupid.
Like how's this helping us?
Yeah, like, this isn't helping us. This is making us feel like shit about ourselves because we can't do it.
Well, he's basically bullying.
Yeah, I was like,
which is what
yeah
caused most of our issues anyway.
Yeah, I had such, like, a severe reaction to a med that they had put me on while I was there. And I was, like, throwing up, and I could not stay awake, but I was, like, throwing up in my sleep. Like, it was terrifying. So they ended up having to, like, put me in a room that they would normally put, like, it's kind of like the padded room, pretty much. Kind of, but, like, wasn't really padded anymore, and you just, you know.
But you could see the stains where it used to be there. Yeah. They didn't paint it good enough.
No. And they had, like, a little window.
Oh, yeah.
At the nurse's desk that looked into the room.
Yeah, you know that's the padded room. That's the special room.
But we had put my mattress on the floor because, like, they did need to keep an eye on me, and, like, they couldn't do it in my room.
Right.
So, like, next best option was that. And the next day, like, I'm up and I, like, go to his group, and he's like, so I see you decided to join us today. And I was like,
no, you know what? I'm going to go back to sleep.
I was like, first of all, I was sick. And he was like, yeah, that's what they told me. And I was like, do you think I'm lying? Like,
there's vomit everywhere.
Sorry, sorry you have trust issues.
Right.
Don't put that on me.
Right.
You need to work through that yourself.
Just because your wife yelled at you before you left the house, don't take it on me.
I was like, dude, chill out. I didn't feel good because of a bad reaction.
Yeah.
Like, even my psychiatrist, like, the one giving me the meds, knew. Like, it was crazy.
So you was there. So if it was 2 years later, so we're talking about 15, you went back then, right?
I was going back, like, every year.
And after 15, it was every year, basically?
At least. At most. No, at least. There were a few. It'd be, like, every few months. I've been in 28 facilities. I'm 23 years old.
Yes.
So, starting at 13.
Yeah, you was a frequent flyer.
Yeah, I was the definition.
You...
Like, that's fine, like, the definition. But yeah, my childhood before moving here to Tennessee was just a bunch of psych stays, trying to kill myself, depressive episodes, trauma. Like, I was just, like, my second assault was because I was just consistently trying to find love in places that it wasn't there.
Probably shouldn't have tried to find.
Yeah. Like, you know, when you're 14, you probably don't need to be with a senior who's
Absolutely.
18.
Yeah.
That was one of the guys that assaulted me as well. You know, I was 14, 18, looking for love in a place that I shouldn't have. His mom would have her favorite thing to do when I went over, grab my shirt, lift it straight up, and go, she's still fat. 14.
Who did that?
His mom.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he would take me upstairs and assault me after dinner. He'd pick me up in the mornings for school, drive me down to the cul-de-sac in my neighborhood, and sexually assault me in his car, in his truck, before going to pick up his other girlfriend.
Oh.
Who would be, like, him, and then I'd be in the middle, and then be her. So I was like, really iconic, really interesting there. His mom broke us up, saying, he's 18 now, I don't want you to accuse him of anything.
You're like, sorry, Mom, it's already been there.
So actually, I hadn't reported him at all. I hadn't told a soul about it, even though, like, it was pretty bad. But I didn't tell anyone until I got hospitalized again, frequent flyer. And I had told a nurse, just, like, told her. I mean, I didn't think she was going to report me or anything. Not me, but, you know. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought I was, like,
you thought I need to tell them this because it's...
I thought it was just venting.
Yeah.
That's really all it was. For no reason at all. I was like, yeah, you seem nice. And so the next morning, I was eating breakfast, and 2 male, police officers come in. And I hear them at the nurse's desk ask for my name.
And you're like,
I'm just sitting, I was like, what the fuck did I do? And so the two cops and I, we go into a little room, and I'm like asking if I can have like a nurse with me because like again I'm 14, just went through like, you know, a bunch of assaults with that guy.
yeah.
And I was like I don't really want to be alone
No,
in a room with you
understandably.
guys. You know, like can I have like a chaperone in here or something like that. I wasn't allowed to, and they poked and prodded and made me say in detail every single thing that my ex had done, all the assaults. I'd like say something and they'd be like, we need like the real term for it. And I'd be like I get it. I get why they need the real term and stuff, but it was like, you know,
I'm
it was
14.
just 14.
Don't make me like
Didn't
relive
ask
this.
about this.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for like cops to come in or anything. And so it was like probably about an hour, felt like longer though, you know, about an hour in the room with them. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll, you know, do our end of it and then, you know, get back to you. And a couple days later, they had come back, spoke to me in the room again, and said, we talked to your twin sister. She said she did not know anything about you being assaulted. So that's the end of our investigation. We're not going to talk to him. And I was like, so you guys
Did all that for no reason.
made me relive this just to talk to my 14-year-old twin.
My sister.
Who
Because, like, I wouldn't
I
tell her
didn't-
anyway.
Right, like,
Because she would tell my parents.
I was like, if you're not going to talk to him? And he's like, well, let's put it this way. You're 14 and you're in a psych hospital. And I was like, yeah? And they're like,
do you not think that's what put me
you
here?
can't take the word of a 14-year-old who's in a psych hospital and none of her family knew.
Wow.
So they dropped it.
That is, we're talking about Springfield, Missouri still.
Yes. I didn't move to Tennessee until 2019. I did move in 2019 to Monroe, Louisiana, though. Like, when we moved, we came here, got our house in Burns, my parents and I, and then stayed a couple days, packed my bags, and then Mom and Dad drove me to Monroe, Louisiana for another rehab that I was supposed to stay in. It was a Christian-based facility. It was a free Christian-based facility for girls between the ages of 18 and 31, I think, is the max.
Right. Sounds like a nunnery. I'm just being honest. Like 18 to 20, 31.
I mean, I'll be totally real. My parents and I, this was when I was religious. This is when I was a Christian.
Yeah.
My parents and I really did think that this was going to be, you know, our saving grace. Like, this was going to help me. This was going to save my life, you know. It's going to keep Mom from having a dead daughter, you know, stuff like that. Because, like, Mom would cry with me, like, apologizing that she can't save me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so she's taking on the whole burden of us anyway.
Because insurance was such an issue. Like, Cox was the only thing that's covered. No residentials, nothing. A free Christian-based rehab for me was the only option.
So it was an inpatient residential.
It was an inpatient facility. They have a couple locations. They have one here in Nashville, too.
Oh.
Mercy Multiplied. It's here in Nashville, Missouri, Louisiana, California. I think, well, I don't know, one other place. But it's a program where you stay for 6 to 9 months. Yeah, I mean, I get there because I go to the Louisiana one because they don't want you to be, like, in a state that's, like, near your family.
Yeah, yeah.
Which makes sense.
Because it's easy to
or, like,
quit.
Anyone that you know either.
Yeah.
So I go. I was there for 3 months before I left willingly. But when I first got there, they found out I'm bisexual. So they made me sign a sheet of paper saying that I would pray the gay away.
Oh. Oh, because that works.
Christian-based facility.
Yeah, because that, you know, that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just kind of, like,
I
signed it.
I'll sign your
signed
paper.
it, but I was like, yeah, that ain't how it's going to work, but all right. But yeah, so I signed saying I was going to pray the gay away, and by the time I left, I was going to be fully straight. And then there was a girl that they had admitted that was molesting other girls in their sleep.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And as someone that already had, like, you know, trauma relating to that, I was like, dude, fuck that. And if you, like, said anything about it, you'd get in trouble or kicked out.
Yeah.
So I left. I was like, I'm not doing this. Fuck that. Like, mm-mm. So I made the decision to leave. I did not tell my parents over the phone my original reason. First of all, they, like, recorded and monitored, like, all the phone calls. And I had once tried to mention this to my parents, and wanted, like, the mama, that we called her mama in the house, who's, like, the lead of the entire house.
Yeah.
Like, hollered out to me that I can't say that. And I was, like, around the corner from her office. Like, I was whispering.
You was like, I gotta tell you what's going on.
I know. I was like, there's, like, this, she's, like, getting kicked out like, and she was like, Amy, you can't talk about that. And I was
Wow,
like,
Whisper 3000.
what the fuck?
Right.
So I was like, I can't tell him why I'm leaving. So when I had told my mom I wanted to leave, and she asked me why, and I was like, I really want to get my diploma. Like, I really want to graduate high school. Like, I was going to get my GED while I was in Mercy. Although, granted, Mercy kept telling me that I wasn't allowed to study for my GED because I hadn't, like, done well enough.
Yeah.
I guess.
Right. You haven't prayed the gay away yet.
Yeah, I haven't prayed the gay away.
Yeah, so, like, you can't get your GED till
Till you're straight.
Can't
Only
get
straight people get their GEDs, y'all.
Right. Oh, you gotta be straight to get your
If you see anyone that's gay or, that's bi and has a GED,
such...
they're straight.
Like, this probably shouldn't even be said, but that is such a Southern United States thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I was also told while I was there that the reason I was the way I was, like, mentally ill and shit, is because I didn't, like, follow God's path.
Oh, so they basically said the reason why...
It's because you're such a shit Christian, pretty much.
Yeah, you're
you failed at Christianity.
Yeah, you're a terrible Christian, and that's why you're having these mental issues.
Yeah, like, I didn't talk to God when I was younger. Like, it was all stuff that, like, I couldn't fix anymore because they were like, you just didn't pray to God enough when you were younger. I was like, great. Like, okay, cool. So, like, what do I do now about that?
Yeah, because I need to get better.
Like, I can't go back.
Yeah.
I can't go back and pray again.
Yeah, I can't go back to 7.
Yeah, I know, right? So I left after 3 months because of all that. Told them I just, like, want to miss my GED and stuff. And as soon as, the day came that I was leaving, they told me to pack my stuff while the girls were out at some event. I don't remember what it was. And I was to sit in the living room. I was not to make any eye contact with any of the girls that were in there. I couldn't talk to them, couldn't say bye, couldn't give them a hug, nothing.
They was running that place like a nunnery.
And they had said if my dad wasn't there by, like, midnight or something, I think it was midnight, then, like, I'd have to get a bus or a plane ticket home. And, like, the amount of stuff I had,
yeah,
no way.
Who's paying for that?
I know, no, it's not possible. And so, like, my dad was closing Caba late. Like, I mean,
yeah,
most nights, like, currently he doesn't get home till like 2 a.m. sometimes. He was trying to get out of there so, his daughter isn't just, like, kind of thrown to the street.
Yeah, here, since you wasn't a good Christian in our eyes.
I know, right?
If you're not gone by midnight, we're just you're done.
Ya.
We're throwing you out.
Booting you. So he picked me up. It was a little past midnight, but, he did his best, okay?
Yeah.
And I just kept begging him. I was like, please, just, like, he's coming. I like...
He's coming.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, he's got a job. Like,
yeah,
it's a show night. What do you mean? So, yeah, he ends up picking me up. We go home.
You tell him everything, hopefully.
No. To this day, I actually don't know if my parents really know why I left Mercy.
Oh, parents, y'all are going to find something interesting, yep.
Yeah, my bad, y'all.
Hey, parents.
To be fair, they also didn't know I was taking my sister's trim at all. There's a lot of things my family's going to figure out.
But see, this is the cool part about the podcast. This is one of the things why I did this, is because, like, when I did my story, my parents did not know that my stepdad sexually molested me.
Yeah.
And so, like, and I didn't have the nerve to tell them in a room because I knew it was going to break both of them.
Right, yeah.
So, like, I kept it to myself. And then I knew they were going to watch it just out of curiosity of what they didn't know, what drove me where I got to.
Yeah.
So I knew they were going to watch it. And, they both called me. They were both upset. The whole, why didn't you tell me? I'm trying to protect family at that age. Yeah. So, like, I get why you didn't do it. Mm-hmm. But, like, that's why the podcast is here, is because there's stuff that people need to get off their chest.
Right.
That they just need to get it out there. And so if they watch it on a podcast, it's like, it might upset them for a minute, but, like, at least you're getting the freedom to get that completely out, and then they'll actually know, and it's just another layer pulled back for you.
I think it'll also just, like, things will just start making more sense.
Yeah, they'll be like
pieces will start fitting.
Yeah, they'll be like, well, they had the whole puzzle, but now you kind of
make it make sense.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And that's why I love doing this, is so people can do what you're doing right now. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. But yeah, I guess I'll jump to the ranch. 2021.
2021.
Fun. I had gotten hospitalized again at Vanderbilt this time. I'm back in Tennessee. I'm in Tennessee now. And this is, I've been in Rolling Hills, Parthenon. Yeah, I've been in Rolling Hills and Parthenon before this Vanderbilt admission. I've been in Vandy 3 times now. I was in Vanderbilt, awful. I mean, suicidal ideation was at its worst, self-harming. I mean, I was doing anything and everything I could. And I remember just one of the nurses just, like, sitting me down and being like, have you ever thought about just, like, long-term? Just, like, something to go away for longer. Like, you've been in hospitals, in and out. Like, 28 here, currently. She's like, you've been in and out of hospitals. Do you ever think that maybe if you tried to go for something like, 30 days or, 60 days or something like that, that it might help you a little bit more and might help you, like, stay out of, short terms a little bit longer? And I was like, my parents wanted to, like, they, fought tooth and nail just so they could get me into one, but, like, insurance. I never thought that I had my own insurance now.
Right.
Like, it didn't dawn on me. And I was telling her all about the insurance issues, and she goes, isn't this under your name, like, your insurance? And I was like, oh my God, you're right.
Ding,
Holy
ding, ding, ding.
shit.
You're like,
you're
I'm
so smart.
Yeah.
Oh my, this is why you're a nurse. This is why you're so good at school. And so she helps me, like, we go to, honestly, we found the ranch from, what was this, Psychology Today, whatever it was.
Yeah.
The one you can, like, search it.
Yeah.
So we were on that, and we found the ranch, went to the website. I was looking at it. I was like, yeah, like, this one's cool. They got horses, That's cool. And, like, really the horses were the only one that got me at first. I was looking at other ones. They were farther away, or they just didn't have something that was strictly focused on mental health. And I wanted something. I didn't want to go to a dual.
Yeah,
I
because
wanted mental health only.
And before you go further, a lot of people don't realize there are very few long-term mental health only facilities. Ranch is one of the very few in the state.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton that's like, we offer mental health treatment, but it's
a dual.
not
It's
focused.
dual. Yes, I agree.
And a lot of, like, dual or a lot of, like, those kind of facilities, they say they can help mental health, but they're so focused towards
on addiction,
sobriety, and, well, like, more towards substances and stuff like that, because, like, I did have an addiction, but it wasn't that kind of addiction that we focused
I understand.
more on. But yeah, and I was like looking through, and I was like, yeah, I guess I'll just, like, send a whatever that form thingamabob is, and talk to them while I was at talk to them while I was at Vandy.
Yeah.
My psychiatrist in the hospital and the therapist I was talking to had sent a referral for me and everything like that, so it was like an easy transition. They had called me, admissions called me the day of discharge, and I can't remember this guy's name. Sweetest guy ever, though, like, the most calming voice. He was like, I'm so sorry, but, like, right now we just don't have a bed, like, even in Piney or anything like that. Like, we just don't have a bed open right now, but, like, I promise first bed in, like, I'm gonna give you a call.
I got
like,
the
you're
same
gonna
thing.
be okay. I promise, like, if you need something, give us a call. We're still here for you. That kind of stuff.
Right.
So I was home, got discharged, whatever, and I was home for, like, a few days afterwards. And, I mean, I went back and forth with Mom and Dad. I was like, I don't need to go. I'm fine. Like, fuck the ranch. Like, I don't need long term. I don't need this and this and this and this.
I feel good right now.
That's the thing. In my last decision to my mom was, I'm not going. Set in stone, not going. I'm not going to think about it again. And when she left for work that day, both of my parents did, that was a solid decision. I wasn't going. And I get a call from admissions that day, like, shortly after they leave. And they say, we have a bed. And it's, like, in the medical house, Piney. And then, like, in a couple of days, they'd have a bed in Deerfield, but he had wanted to get me in quick.
Yeah.
Sat there, and I was like, all right, when do I need to be there? I'm trying to decide, like, internally if I'm going. And he says, we close at this time, so anytime before then. I was like, all right, see you in a few hours. And I don't know why I said that. Like, I had decided I wasn't going. I was trying to be polite with asking questions, so it didn't sound like, yeah, fuck no, I'm not going.
But he kind of semi-talked you into it.
He was just so nice about it.
Yeah.
And he was, like, so polite and so calm. And, like, I just, like, all right, see you in a few hours. And I was hung up the phone. I was like,
what the fuck what did I say?
Oh, my God, I guess I'm going to see him in a few hours.
guess I'm going to go to Who
yeah,
made me say that?
So I called my mom, and I was like, hey. And she's like, you okay? Because, like, again, I'm just randomly calling my mother in the middle of a day.
So she's already, she's already, like
up here.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, where's your suitcase?
She's like,
what?
The hell you need a suitcase for? I can already see it.
I'm like, the ranch called and they have a bed for me, so I'm gonna pack the suitcase and go.
And
I was like, just
the wrinkles came across her head. She was like,
about it. Like,
And
that
she was
it.
like, "Oh, okay."
She's like, in the
she's
like telling me where it is and stuff like that, and she's like, so you're going?
Yeah,
I
you
was
just
like,
said.
they gave me a call. I guess they have a bed ready for me, so I guess I'm going. And she was like, how are you gonna get there?
You're like,
And I was like, oh.
Mom, can you take off work? I need you to take off work.
I was like, well, the guy I was seeing, I was like, he's busy. You're at work. What about Dad? She's like, he's busy. And I was like, I'll bribe Emily. So, like, Emily took me to the ranch. She got home, we loaded her car, and she drove me to Nunley. Dropped me off, everything, got admitted. Day 13 rolls around at the ranch, and I cuss every single girl out. Like, that it was in the house, cussed her out. Didn't care what it was about.
You was at that.
I was at the point where I wanted to AMA. I was like, I don't need to be here. Like, this is bullshit. This is a waste of my time.
Which happens to a lot of people at that time.
That's what they had told me. So, I mean, I was sitting outside at the front, like, doing a bunch of phone calls and stuff. Like,
yeah.
One does when you want to.
Because they let you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let you
have
get all
to
that.
go
They let you
through.
get all that energy out.
I mean, thank God for the girls, though. Like, I mean, I was going hard at the clients.
Yeah.
I felt so bad. And so I talked to the people, and they're like, if you want to leave, you can leave tomorrow morning. But it is too late for you to leave right now.
Yes, that's how we always got them. Like, when I became a BHT there, that's how we got them. Like,
But it was still dark, though. And I was like, yeah, that makes, like, you're good. That makes totally fine. Like, I get it. You're fine.
I would tell them at 4 o'clock because, a lot of times the missions close at 4. I'd be like, hey, we could still get you out of here tonight. But do you know how much paperwork I'm going to have to do now that the missions is closed?
Yeah.
Like, I have no more paperwork than I did, whether it was closed or not. But, like,
that's what they were like, if you want to leave, like, that's fine. You can leave. Like, we're not going to force you to stay here. But it has to be tomorrow morning just because it's too late right now. And so went to bed, woke up, and it was like a light switch.
it is.
I was so open to getting help.
The crazy part is that's when we know the light bulb's fixing to kick on for somebody.
See,
and we have to get them through that. It's like their body is fighting. It's like you've learned enough that you know better, but then that bad side, well, not your bad side, but like that sick side of you's like, get the fuck out of here right now because you're fixing to change and I can't be here.
Where I was at before the ranch became comfortable.
Yeah.
I became too comfortable in it. But I had like the schedule up call, of course, the next day. And they're like, do you still want to leave? And I was like, I don't know. Like,
and then they do this
That's
because I use the same line. Won't you go through there? Won't you go through the sessions today? See how you feel at the end of the day.
mine said, give it a few more days. And I was like, okay, I guess I can give it a few more. And like a few more days, 2 more days goes by, and I get called down to my social worker's office, and I was like, what am I doing?
I'm good.
Like I was just sitting, like all I was crocheting on the couch, like what am like thinking I was in trouble. I sat down, and she has her like computer in front of her, and she goes, so I heard from your mom, and I was like, oh my God, what happened?
You forgot you called her, and
I didn't call her. I didn't talk to her, and so I had no idea what this was about. And she said she had emailed me something she wanted you to see, and she pulls it up, turns the screen to me, and it's my niece. My niece had been born while I was at the ranch, like a couple days after I wanted to leave. She was born, like she was full term, but she was born 2 pounds 6 ounces.
Yeah.
Tiny. So she spent days in the NICU. And I know exactly what photo it still is. Like I can pinpoint, I can bring it up, like all that stuff. And I remember just looking at the computer screen, seeing like Izzy, and it's just tiny, like little. And I remember sitting there and I was like, this is gonna be the one that gets me through treatment. Because like my thing is like, I don't want Izzy to know of me. That's the thing. Like, I couldn't I can imagine Caitlin be like, and this was your aunt. Her name was Amy. She would have loved you so much. She would have been so proud of you.
She would.
This is your Aunt Amy. She is so proud of you. She loves you so much.
That was your switch.
I would be damned if Izzy only knows of me. Plus, if it had actually worked back then, Oliver would have no clue who I am.
Right.
And he loves me. He looks forward to me so much. Oh, I love that kid. But yeah, she was born, and I was like, I'm not going to let her know of me. I'm going to let her know who I am.
Absolutely.
Not just photos. Nothing like that. And if, like, Izzy's born 2 pounds, like, if she can fight,
then I got to fight.
How small she is, just being born, brand new baby that's like, just took her breath. I can do it too. Like, I am 21. She can do it. I can do it too. I remember, like, when I got out, like, I got to see her for the first time after I did 2 PHPs and the ranch.
So how long was you associated with the ranch then?
So I was at the ranch for 32 days.
Okay.
And then from the ranch, I got sent to PAX Memphis, which I only
Oh, yeah, because the ranch didn't have their own PHP and IOP program back then.
They did. They had PHP, but my insurance didn't cover PHP portion. So I went to PAX Memphis because I wanted to live in PHP. So we went to PAX Memphis. I was there for like 2 days. And then I ended up leaving because I had opened up in group. Again, this PHP was dual.
Oh.
But it was like mainly substance. I mean, all the groups were about substance. So I went to PAX Memphis, shared in a group that I had been sexually assaulted. And I get a snap from one of the guys in the next house, and it goes, I would never sexually assault you because I find you attractive. And we weren't like allowed to like lock our doors at night or lock our bedroom doors, anything like that. And I was like,
no, that's too.
So what
fingers.
happens when you don't find me cute anymore?
Right, like
so,
you already insinuated what you would do.
Yeah, so I had told my roommate, and I had told one of the male texts, and pulled it up, and this is back when you can't change your like name on Snapchat. Like that's just recently been able, you know? So, like, you cannot change your username. And so I pull it up. I'm like, these are the messages. Here's his username. Here's his, like, Bitmoji, you know, whatever. And he goes, well, I mean, yeah, but you can't really tell it's him. And I was like, walk into the next house over and look at his Snap. Like, that username
is going to be on his phone.
It's going to be the same one no matter what.
Yeah. And this is not even rocket science.
Well, you know, it's just, it could, you know. And I was like, no, I don't.
I think I'm leaving.
So I didn't plan to leave then. And then my roommate gets involved. Like, this girl, very to herself. I mean, she was in her room all the time. Like, she'd go to groups, but, like, that was it. Never spoke, barely talked, nothing. And she got pissed. Like, she got pissed for me because, like, I wasn't mad enough about this. And so
she took on the anger.
She took on the anger. She called the director of the entire, like, I didn't even know she had this person's number.
Oh, so she's like, I'm skipping all of y'all. I'm going to the top.
She's like, fuck all of you. Like, I'm calling director. So the director, and she gives the director my number. Director calls me, and she's like, can you tell me what happened? And I was like, yeah. And so I told her, and she's like, listen, if I wasn't already halfway to Nashville by now, because it's Memphis, I would be kicking down doors right now. She was pissed. She was angry for me. And she was like, I totally understand if you want to leave. I'll reach out to you when I get to Nashville with some other options that I can send referrals to. Like, I'll do whatever you need me to do.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah.
She was amazing.
She was amazing. Loved her to death. And so I get picked up, go, and then I end up going to Chattanooga Recovery Center.
Yeah.
So literally opposite ends.
You went to the other end of the state.
Which, like, I really enjoyed Chattanooga Recovery Center. It was a really great place. Again, it's a dual, which is
because there's
mental. Not mental. It's not mental at all, really.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy the place. What they were doing was great. You know, loved it. But I ended up just going home because it was insurance cut me out and it wasn't really anything mental health related. But yeah, got home. I got kicked out from my house, from my parents' house shortly after returning home. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, everything really.
Like
snowballed.
your whole story just took a.
Yeah, I know.
It just took a detour. Like I was like,
Yeah.
they're gonna welcome her home.
No. I mean, I got welcomed home, but like shortly after, I just got kicked out. Packed my bags, packed everything up, decided I was gonna move in with the guy I was seeing. Moved into his grandparents' house for a little bit. Thank God for them because like I truly had nowhere to go. You know? Like if it wasn't for the grandparents opening their arms to me, like I'd probably be on the streets.
Yeah.
And like thinking now, like I'm glad I got kicked out because I ended up like doing really good for myself, and I think that's like, you know how like a mama bird will just like figure it out.
Mama bird's like, figure it out. Time.
Screw it. I ain't gonna teach you. You're just gonna do it. Yeah,
right.
That's kind of how it was.
I have tried
you know?
to teach you everything I could teach you. You're hard-headed.
That's
go.
the thing. So like that's kind of I think what my mom was thinking, and I get it. Like it helped in a few areas. Moved in with his grandparents for a little bit, and then we ended up getting our first place together. He very shortly stopped working, so I was paying for a Nashville apartment by myself on one income. I worked at the hospital at the time. Got engaged to him, and then so we were going into debt because I was trying so hard to work overtime in healthcare as a CNA, pay our bills, keep food in the house, stuff like that. And it got to a point where I wasn't going to be able to do it anymore by myself. So I ended up just taking loans out and anywhere I could.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
took your debt and was like, hey,
Yeah.
I take my debt
Fucked my
and
credit
I
up.
double it,
Screwed my credit so bad.
triple it.
Yeah. Took out a bunch of loans to, keep my head above water. I'm like fighting to survive over here. And it wasn't like a safe relationship, there was one morning where I was going to work. I didn't drive at this time. And it was like 5:45 probably, somewhere around that time. And he got mad, so he pulled a knife on me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Not like, like one of those small knives, like one of those like butcher knife looking thing ones.
Yeah.
Like one of the big ones.
Like, I call
Pulls
them
it
the
on
Rambo
me.
knives.
Yeah, he just pulls it on me because he was tired. And, there's one day we were in an argument and he got upset. So I went to take a walk to get some fresh air because that helps me. And I get home and he has slit his wrist and forces me to clean it up. Yeah, it was not, was a lot that happened in that relationship. But took out loans, got my tons of bank accounts shut down just because I go negative nonstop.
Yeah.
I'd open, go negative, open, go negative. I could not keep up with anything. Had to get a roommate. That was a shit show in general. Just as a whole, I will never live with a roommate again. But ended up getting evicted, not evicted. It's on my credit, but I made it out lucky on that one.
Yeah.
We ended up getting another place. We split for a little bit, got back together. Ended up getting another place.
Did he work this time?
On the other place?
Did he work at the other when y'all got the new place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. But he was really bad with money. Would just blow it. So I never really got assistance or his share. Really.
Right.
I moved into a place by myself and then ended up getting back with him. So he moved in with me. We ended up living there until we got married and lasted 8 months. 8 months and involved 3 other girls.
Oh.
So, yeah, cheated on me 3 times. Having to send hey girly text about your husband.
Yeah.
Kind of a whole new level of fucked up.
Right.
I getting hey girly texts suck.
Yeah.
But sending him hey girly, just so you know.
Just so you know, he's
you're
married.
texting my husband.
Right.
That is such a wild and crazy sentence that I never once thought I'd ever have to say. I never thought that would come out of my mouth,
Yeah.
So we got divorced 8 months later. Divorces me in the middle of a cabaret shift. Yeah, we didn't actually. So we separated in March
Of
2024.
Okay.
And didn't actually go to the courthouse until December
So
to
you're
finalize
divorced?
it.
Oh, to finalize, yes.
So technically, I've been divorced since December.
So
I've been separated since May.
May. So it took 7 months.
No, wait. Yeah, it was May.
7 months for the divorce to be finalized.
Because he just didn't want to go to the courthouse.
Yeah.
It sucked.
So how many years in recovery are you in right now?
How far clean am I?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't self-harmed in 3 years and 2 months.
That's right. Hell yeah.
3 years and 2 months.
And here's the thing. You went through a bad relationship with a guy that pulled a knife on you, cut himself, cheated on you multiple times, and you still didn't revert back to self-harming. That's amazing. That's
relationship, but after the ranch, I've been in one hospital.
Yeah.
I've been hospitalized once since the ranch.
Which is also...
Which, in comparison to how I was when I was a kid.
Yeah, you was basically averaging 2 a year at that point.
Multiple a year. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And now, I think about it, and
since 2021, you've been in one hospital.
Yeah, I got admitted to the ranch. Last year, I was in Vanderbilt Psych again, and then got divorced right after Vanderbilt Psych.
Right.
I got discharged.
Which is about the time I think I met you. I might have met you before then, but
Yeah, I think so. Around that time, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I haven't been in another one since.
That's amazing, though.
I know.
To go through everything you went through after you left the ranch. And that's what I try to tell people. Life keeps on lifing. Life keeps on throwing everything at us. But, once you learn skills and stuff, as long as you know how to use your skills, you could get through the situations. Was there times you probably felt like self-harming?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to say absolutely. Because, I'm 2 years out of self-harming. I can name on my hand probably 5 times in the last 2 years where I'd be I'd really like to right now. But man, if I do, how bad am I going to feel right afterwards?
Well, my whole thing is so I don't allow myself to have pencil sharpeners in my house because that's my go-to.
Yeah.
But also shaving razors are my go-to.
Yeah.
But thank you, Walmart. They lock them up. You have to get an associate to unlock the razor blades for you now.
Yeah.
And the sheer thought of standing there just need some blades.
Yeah.
I do not waste my razors.
Yeah.
I cannot waste them. Because, once you take one, razor out, you can't use that entire razor
Right.
head again.
Yeah.
So it's like, I cannot waste those. Because I don't want to sit there and be like, sorry, I know you're busy.
I know you're busy.
It. I'm so sorry.
I know I was just here last week.
I could have done this for Amazon. I should have. You know what? You're totally right. You don't have to say anything.
Right. It's just.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to go ahead and go. My bad.
I don't even need the razors now. Like, I understand. Like, so you're 3 years from cutting. So, like, let's go from that angle.
Okay.
So we got a lot of young people that cut.
Yes.
Women, young girls, young boys, they cut. Like, it's happening. For a lot of parents that don't know it, it happens more than y'all think. Like, because it's because you have people that don't want to try drugs and alcohol, but they got to do something to not feel so bad. And a lot of times it's self-harming. And, like, self-harming usually starts off with kids biting their fingers below their cuticles and making it bleed because it hurts. Like, it hurts. It can look like them pulling their own hair out because been there.
Sign that I don't think anyone actually really looked at close enough for
What's that?
it. When I'd get really overstimulated or really overwhelmed or mad, I would dig my nails into my face.
Yes.
Until I'd bleed. Like, that was an issue for so long. And it was an issue up until I just started.
Cutting.
I just moved up.
Yeah. And that's what it is. Everybody's like, I know people ask me, they were like, when did you cut? And I was like, there's a long line of stuff that happened, like banging my head into paper towel holders or walls, like slapping myself, punching myself in the face. Like, I did all that.
Normally, it's not going to be something that, you just do.
Yeah, it's like...
You know what I mean?
I mean, they're like, oh, Juice is just acting normal again. I'm like, no, like, this is... me punching myself in the face is not a normal activity.
Exactly.
So, like, for parents out there, let's hit this from a parent angle tonight. Because usually I always talk to, people out there looking. Let's hit it from a parent angle tonight. And say there's parents out there and they, as a parent, we know something's wrong with our child. Like, we know they're going through something. Luckily for me, I've been through a lot of that. So, like, I could read it probably better. But, like, say you got parents out there and they think their kid is doing something. Say they're self-harming. Like, so let's go straight for self-harming because that is one that kids can hide really well, better than the substance abuse and stuff. What's one thing that you could tell a parent to look out for if their child is self-harming, like a first step?
Warning sign?
Huh?
Like a warning sign?
Like a warning sign, like, okay, this isn't just my child, just there's something going on. Like maybe a warning sign before they get to the stage of cutting. Because, you lead your way up.
Withdrawal.
Oh, withdrawal from...
slowly taking myself out of things.
Okay.
I was dropping out of things I didn't enjoy anymore. Like, I was dropping out of things I enjoyed. I was talking to people less.
Okay.
I would hide more. Like, I'd be in my room more. I'd be on my phone more. And that's another thing. I found out all about cutting.
I mean...
Instagram, I will tell you right now, Instagram is a lot better than it was when I was younger. I'll give it that. Because, like, when you search up, like, self-harm or suicide or, like... And this is going to be in most social medias you see now. Like, it's going to, like, example, TikTok, you type that in, you're going to get a bar at the top that says, like...
988.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
but you're not going to get videos.
Yeah.
That does not exist.
Yeah. TikTok is,
Unfortunately, back then...
It was the Wild West. It was the Wild West.
You can see anything and everything you wanted on Instagram, on the search bar. And, like, I remember the one that I gravitated to the most was, like, it was a thigh, and it was a drawing of a cat. It wasn't a drawing, but
Yeah.
And, like, that's the thing that got me, was, like, everyone online under the term self-harm and cutting cutting themselves.
Right. And made it look like it was normal. So you're like, oh,
that's
hell.
The thing. And, like, you get a lot of forums and you get a lot of pages that are like, oh, I went through this and this and this, like, bullied in school. And I was like, oh, me too. Like, stuff like that. And then they go on and talk and like, well, now I self-harm. And it's
and
like,
it makes me feel better.
Yeah. And it's like, I love that people talk about it, but like, there's like this line of talking about it versus.
Yes.
Encouraging it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In the early days, I would say social media encouraged it.
Oh, it did. I absolutely will say that too. But I mean, I still feel that way now. In some ways, like, when I was a kid, I mean, I had Kik. I think we all kind of know the issues that revolved around Kik. I mean, I was receiving unsolicited dick pics from random strange adult men when I was a minor. I had this online friend that I made on Kik, and I'd never met her in real life. And she killed herself.
Probably the first time you had to deal with death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She killed herself, and it was like a nightly thing. I mean, her and I were internet friends.
Yeah.
And the first night that I didn't get to text her,
She was
It was
gone.
weird as hell. She had sent me a text after I'd fallen asleep.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew what she did when I woke up. Helpless. I felt so guilty.
Yeah. So parents out there, if you notice that your child's withdrawing, like getting away from sports or anything they used to love,
They're not being themselves.
they're not being themselves. Like, if you have a inkling something's wrong, I would just go ahead and be like,
I talk to them. Sit them down gently. Don't sit them down and
don't yell.
don't be like, you're being different, and I know for a fact that something's wrong, so you're going to tell me everything that's going through your head right now, or else this or this or this.
And as a child, I'll be like, there's nothing wrong.
As a child, I'll make up some
defensive.
lie to you so
Yes.
you can get off my ass.
I'll be like, my best friend Bobby he told me he wasn't friends no more. Like, I would
yeah,
make
I know,
up
like, it would be like the most mediocre thing ever.
You got to approach them gently. Like, let's approach them gently, because it's a really touchy subject. They're ashamed of it, but they're happy about it at the same time. Like, I mean, I was cutting in my 40s, and I was ashamed of it, but I was like, damn, it feels good at the same time. You know, it makes me not want to punch my face in a wall. So,
like, if someone would have just sat me down and been like, hey, like, how's
life?
How's volleyball going?
Yes.
How's that going? You dropped. I think I heard that you know that you had decided or you were thinking about dropping out. What led you to that?
I like
I
that.
also, I noticed that you've been wearing, baggier clothes or longer sleeves, or
I noticed that it's
Are you
100
having,
degrees
like-
outside in the summertime, and you got on long pants
are
and
you
long
having
shirts.
like issues with like your body temperature? Like, are you like getting cold easily? Because
Yeah.
like I totally get that. Like, we can go see a doctor for that. Like, because I just want you to know, like,
Yeah.
if you're feeling
some sort of way.
don't immediately jump to what you assume.
Yeah, let them know there's people out there that can help them.
And don't assume anything.
Yeah, don't assume nothing. Like, there's people out
Rolling
there that
Hills
help them.
wrote the word assume on a chalkboard.
Yeah,
So when you
and
assume,
I would like
it
to
makes
say,
an ass out of you and me.
yeah, like I would also like to say, and I've said it multiple times, since COVID happened, the recovery world, and as a whole, is so much better than it was before COVID. Like, it's been brought to the forefront. This is Men's Mental Health Month. There's so many better places today than, say, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was the Wild West in the field.
Yeah.
Today, you got people that work in the field that have been through it. So, like, it's got a whole different approach now. So, like, don't be scared to reach out and get some help. Like it's there now. Like, it's not a big scary place like it used to be. But with that being said, we have come to the end of our show. Already. And so, like, I would like to thank you for coming on to the show. You are my first guest that really had some self-harm talk. It's like, so, like, it was needed. I mean, I talked about it on my episode, but I don't think it's been talked about since then. And getting a female's perspective on it I needed it. We needed it for our show. But, we'd like to tell everybody, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Please help us get this message out. Like, we really want to get this out everywhere, and it's going to be up to y'all to get our product out there. If you have any questions, you can reach me on Instagram, Morning Juice Pod, and then on everything else like YouTube, it's The Morning Juice. You can put a comment on there, put your number on there. I'll reach out to you. Like, just reach out. If you need help, reach out to us. We'll get you to wherever you need to go. I don't care where you are in the United States. The recovery world's kind of one big circle now, so like we can get you wherever you need to get to. Please reach out to us.
It's worth it.
And I will see you next time on The Morning Juice. Bye.